Hey there guys, Aaron Baker here, Eugene, Oregon, Lane County Courthouse, outside a little plaza here they call a free speech plaza, so where freedom of speech can be spoken. But I'm going to go inside this Harris Hall here in the courthouse where the county commissioners usually meet up. But there's a guy that's going to be speaking in there that's running for Congress against Peter DeFazio, so I want to see what he has to say. But if he says too much, I'll have to let him know freedom of speech isn't allowed in there, only in the designated area here by the government in this free speech plaza.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Ron Paul, I saw him in Washington. He sat down, gave me a lot of advice, wished us well, and endorsed us. So we have Ron Paul's endorsement. We have others.
Alright, I got a question for you. Now, you say Ron Paul endorsed you and all. I mean, how far do you go with Ron Paul's principles and political views?
Well,
I mean,
let's put it first. I don't know them all because I haven't been following Ron Paul that carefully. But he's a principled man.
Yeah.
I know that if I depart from Ron Paul, we'll still respect each other because he's principled. That's different from being a weasel like these other people. Now, Ron Paul says, well, what about foreign policy? You don't have much of that in your flyer. We started to talk about foreign policy. I am against the quartering of American troops in 100 countries for no reason. But I looked at him and I said, you know, this war in Iraq, what I read in the newspapers makes it not sound very good, but I'm not in charge, and I don't know the facts. All I'm in is the guy reading the newspapers. So I said, look, Ron Paul's position, of course, is steadfast against the war. It wasn't declared constitutionally. He's certainly right about that. But taking that aside, is it a good idea to be there? Well, the president and the Congress have a lot of classified information that I don't have. So is it really enough for me to say, what I read in the newspapers makes me an expert and I can tell you whether the men should be fighting or not? I don't know that I have enough information to do that. And this has happened in American politics before. You remember the missile gap? Kennedy was elected on the missile gap. Yeah. The Russians orbited, and this is an example, but I'll explain what I mean. The Russians orbited Sputnik. And the scream was there's a missile gap. The Russians have missile capabilities greater than the United States. Kennedy ran on the missile gap. Eisenhower and Nixon both knew that Wernher von Braun had a missile on the pad that could put a satellite in orbit at any time and could have beaten the Russians. But it wasn't fired because the government decided, secretly, that it would be better to let the Russians launch the first satellite, and then there wouldn't be an increase in the Cold War because satellites were going over the Soviet Union, because they'd have been going over America first. It's a sensible thing. I don't know, but that's what they decided. So the Eisenhower administration decided not to launch first, but it was all classified. Nixon could not tell the American people there was no missile gap, and he lost an election on it. But it was secret. Now, I don't know. Obama says he's against war. Then he comes into office and triples the war in Afghanistan. Why? To the outside observer, that's not a good thing for our country to do. But I don't know I'm not.
so at this point, with your knowledge,
yeah, and what I'm telling you is, it's an example. Ron Paul looked at me and he says, yeah, you know, he says maybe it was the fact that they found a lot of minerals in mine in Afghanistan. It wasn't what you didn't know. So his principles are, we shouldn't be in that war, and certainly he's right that it should have been declared properly. And I was different on him because I was saying, I don't like it either, but I don't have the information these men did do. And as much as I dislike Obama, the country has given him the power to make these decisions. And so I was saying, I don't think it looks good either, and I certainly don't want to quarter troops in other countries, but we were different. And I would say that I respect him so much that if I were in Congress and I found that I differed with him on something, I'd look at it really carefully because he might be right. But I'm not endorsing everything Ron Paul says because I'm not Ron Paul and I don't even know everything he said. He's a very principled man. And I think if he'd been nominated for president, he'd have won. Because I think the American people, if they'd seen this guy up there one-on-one with people who were running, would have been drawn to those principles like the college students are. I think he's a very fine man. But that doesn't mean that I'm a clone of Ron Paul and I would vote the same as him on everything, because I don't know what we would even vote on.
Just the free market principles, I see.
The free market, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right about honest money, and he's absolutely right about abolishing the Fed. This is right. This is right. But there are many nuances and things that haven't even been confronted with all the things he's been confronted with. So he's a man of the kind we need. He's right on many of these issues. He's a very principled man. If we had 435 Ron Pauls in that building, we wouldn't have to worry about that. Right?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I think he's great. I'm delighted to have his endorsement, honored to have his endorsement, but that doesn't mean I'm a Ron Paul clone, because I don't know whether I would be. And possibly we'd have a 100% Paul rating. I don't know.
All right. Just lastly, your opinion on Peter DeFazio. What's he been in office for 30 years?
No, for 23. His term, when he finishes his term, will be 24 years, 12 terms.
Isn't that just incredible?
Yeah, well, it's way too long.
So that's great. I'm going to put a link to his campaign website. I don't know how any of you can help out, so through that you can figure out how you can. But really, guys, let's try to help out. I think we can really get Peter DeFazio out of this district, and we really need to. Art seems great. I know his position on the war right now seems undecided. Hopefully we can get him decided on that.